What does Ali Abdaal's channel have in common with all the other channels you potentially might know? They have lots of videos. And so I took a look at this, and this actually only recently came to me, but it's so obvious. They have videos because they constantly post videos. Every channel that is unknown just probably also has... So basically there are channels who are known and there are channels who are unknown. And the main thing, all of the channels, so if these are now all of the channels that are known, it's not that these are subsets that actually overlap, but the main thing they all have in common that they have lots of videos. And so one could set a certain number, let's just say it's 1,000 videos, and if a channel doesn't hit 1,000 videos, then it's just very unlikely that somebody ever will see these videos, as every piece that's up on a channel is just a sample. It's just kind of a lottery ticket. I have been thinking about these as lottery tickets. Everything is just something that could be interesting, but it doesn't need to be. It could be interesting just to you, it could be interesting to somebody in 15 years, but the more lottery tickets you assemble under the umbrella of one channel, at least I think of this in terms of my own channels this way, the more opportunity you have for exposure. So first was the observation. Now, how did I actually implement this into my video production? I searched for a metric. I have been thinking many years now about how I can create a system for myself that allows me to do the things that, so basically to incentivize the behaviors that I want to incentivize, and that makes these behaviors easier, but I nonetheless have a goal. Now, the problem with having a fixed goal is that eventually you reach the goal and then you need to make a new goal. So ideally you have a function which automatically updates itself, which in terms of one's own mind, one could think of the hedonistic treadmill is actually such a function. It is a function that it doesn't matter what fixed milestone you reach. This fixed milestone could also be a rate of change already, or maybe also the rate, so the change rate of the change rate, but nonetheless it always kind of is adapting, which is quite useful, and it also is adapting in a way that is actually appropriate. And so how can I nonetheless rationally come up with something like this for making videos? Now, the main thing that distinguishes, again, a channel that has probably a lot of traffic from a channel who doesn't have a lot of traffic is that there are more videos on the channel. So if I now take this observation and apply it to my own channels, what is a function that would work for me? Now, in terms of the functions that are available, there are a couple of different ones that one could have. One would be to have a function where, or let's just not call it a function already, but a metric. If I search for a metric that ideally also depicts actually something that is real, then I am searching for a metric that fulfills the following criteria. If I have more of this metric, then that's better. So more is better. This seems to be somewhat fairly easy. There are obviously many areas in which this is not true, where more is not necessarily better, but maybe the reverse is true. Maybe there is a function where the optimum is actually maybe like here. So blood pressure, for example, lower is better, but if one has a blood pressure of 0, then that's also not really good. One could think of many different things, such as weight. Lower is better, at least to a certain degree, if one is maybe overfat, but then if one is not overfat anymore, then less weight actually might decrease muscle mass, and so again, we have a local optimum. Now, in terms of trying to find a function which is actually maximizing, we already kind of now have both these two things which we need. The observation that more videos on a channel is usually better, and now what am I searching for in terms of a function which I can optimize? More videos. Now, how can I implement this? In order to implement this, I need to have the data. I need to know that the data is actually trustworthy, so I need to trust myself that this is data that is actually what it is, and one could imagine a scenario in which I set this system up once, and then I never open up this Excel sheet again because it's super complicated and takes 2 hours, and then there are all these different questions which I try to answer, but then over time also I answer these questions differently, and so therefore the definitions of the metrics change. So what doesn't change is published videos. So I can now see published videos. Now the question is also, if you post to multiple platforms, do you count videos as, so what do you count? Do you count video? Do you count the post? Do you count if you have a channel, but you also have an Instagram channel? And if you post now the same video on the Instagram channel, but also on the YouTube channel, what do you count? what I decided is that I would choose one platform, and I would only choose videos. Why? The strategy of only choosing videos, now for the sake of the metric, also to a certain extent is related to only making videos as kind of the main. So in case you're wondering, I noticed that my shirt was not that clean, so I cleaned it a little bit. I think of media, at least the media I produce, as a couple of different categories. The first one is something that is visual, which could be a newspaper, it could also be a blog post, it could also be a book. So visual is text that can be that usually takes time in order to read it. So there is basically the visual thing, but you need time in order to understand. Then there is also the visual thing, but the thing itself needs time to play out. And then there is also audio, which is basically a combination of the visual thing over time plus audio. Now, these three different categories can basically subsume all the different media types that exist there. Podcast is audio. A video podcast is just video. Now there are also multiple subcategories, and this doesn't actually matter that much. What matters to me is if I write something, then I eventually convert it into a video, and I can then upload the audio to a podcast, for example, which I did in the past, but currently I, due to time constraints, don't do this any longer. So I chose longer. I chose one platform, which is YouTube. Now, also for other reasons. So if I now take all the videos that are published on all of the channels I own on YouTube, and I sum them up, then I have a number. Now the question is, what do I do? Do I look all of these numbers up? Now you can publicly access these. If I would want to log into all the channels, then it would already be too much of a problem, because then I would need to either be logged in all the time into all of these channels, which is not possible, or I would need to access these sites and maybe write something that actually, maybe a script or something like this, which looks up all these channels and then looks up all the videos that are posted. This would be the actual best scenario, I think, because it is the videos that are public on this channel. It is also what everybody else can access in terms of the data. It's not some random number I make up. Nonetheless, what I currently do track also is, so one could also think maybe of the file, tracking the file. But the problem with this is that there is a loophole. And this loophole is, if the file is already recorded, then the file exists, and then I can already track it and see, okay, I made more videos, but it might not be uploaded. And so I need the videos to be uploaded. So what I have created, or the system I'm currently using, is that I track all of the videos I make in Notion. And in Notion, I can then have a view, and this view has a sum of all the videos that meet the filter criteria. And then it is a sum, and this sum currently sits at 7,191 produced videos that are also published. So published videos or posted videos. If I now would post them additionally to another platform, then they would not additionally count. I think it makes sense to only count everything once, because otherwise, over time, you might decide to do something like, okay, I post this to these other platforms as well, and then it double counts, and then you need to remove the double count somehow. So one platform, I chose one platform to be the counting platform, and the one platform is approximated by the videos I have in Notion. And the videos I have in Notion, as soon as I basically post them, I also update the Notion database, which means this is always current. Now I also wanted to carry this number with me. I wanted to take a look at this number. I wanted to, if I am not doing anything, I wanted to see, okay, this number, what if I just increase this number? Then it probably increases the chances of me making money with this eventually, or this getting some traffic eventually, or basically all of these other partial goals, one could say. Basically, they all increase in the likelihood of being met if I increase this number. So make another video is the incentive that should result out of the system. And make another video and upload also another video additionally. And make another video and upload another video that also maybe gets traffic, but for the purpose of this, it doesn't actually matter if it gets traffic, which is also in a certain way kind of including the problem that I cannot really control whether something gets traffic or not. Of course, I can do certain things that I think might increase the likelihood of this happening, but I can actually control everything that is beyond basically me producing something and then uploading something and then uploading something. So I came up with this number. I currently am sitting at 7.1k videos, or 7,000 videos. I do track this number in currently a couple of different places. So the first one is I wanted something like this, a couple of core metrics of my life, or I currently consider this as a core input metric, at least to this project, which is making videos. And so I track a couple of inputs like this, and there are also other things I thought about in other areas of life. And so this one thing is now this video number posted. So I have this on my watch, and that's in case you are searching for this, it's a Garmin IQ app, which is called, or Glance, which is called Counter. And there's a duplicate version of this app which allows you to have two counters, which has each three values. So this is also kind of allowing myself to in the moment already generate some dopamine or have some reward without actually giving me some reward. It's just a number that goes up, but I know that it goes up and it's actually properly tracked by me. The second place where I have this is I also have a Counter app on my phone, which I also then increase. Then there is an additional place which is an Excel spreadsheet, but because it still takes 30 seconds sometimes or 1 minute for an Excel spreadsheet to open up, at least with the current computer I am using, therefore it was this big thing that and update this number, and then I have to look up all of the YouTube channel pages and insert this number and then sum it up, and then of course there's the time cost of doing this, and in this time I could also have produced just more videos, but nonetheless I need something like this, a target, and this target is that I just make more videos. Of course I can set random targets. I can say, okay, I at some point in time want to have made 8,000 videos, and all of these need to be online. If I decide at some point that they are unpublished, that I should private them, or that I unpublish them, then they also ideally get removed from this. I would maybe remove them also from the Notion database, probably, because I have a policy in place that is post or delete. So I try to not keep any files, at least the files are produced for basically public consumption, where I either basically have still the file and it is live, or I delete it. Because what otherwise would be created is kind of this limbo with lots of files in between where I don't really know, and if I don't really know, then it is a mental burden to me. And what I want is, okay, these are the files that are online. If I want better videos, then I need to make better videos.